Hey Credit Warriors, welcome to the show, and we have a little bit of a sad video for you today because there have been some negative changes to one of the best Chase credit card features to come out of the pandemic, and that was pay yourself back. So if you don't know, during the financial downturn in 2020 caused by the government's response to the pandemic, Chase realized that most people were not redeeming Ultimate Rewards points for travel anymore, so they created a new feature where you could pay off charges on the card with points, and that was called Pay Yourself Back. You could use Pay Yourself Back to pay off charges on the card as long as they fall within the past 90 days and are within certain spending categories, which would change periodically. On the Ink business cards, the points were worth 1.25 cents per point when used through Pay Yourself Back. On the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the points were worth 1.25 cents per point as well, the same. And on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, they were worth 1.5 cents per point. Airbnb was one of the strongest categories since typically you can't book Airbnbs through credit card travel portals, but now you could book an Airbnb on your card, and then if you had the Chase Sapphire Reserve, for example, you could redeem points at 1.5 cents per point to pay off that Airbnb charge. But sadly, Airbnb has now gone as a category. It doesn't exist anymore, and there have been other changes, particularly to the value of the points on some of the cards and also the categories that we are going to talk about. Basically, in this video, we are going to go through how Pay Yourself Back works in 2023, so you know the negative changes, but you also know some of the sweet spots where you can still get some value out of it. But first of all, if you do have a lot of credit cards that you are struggling to keep track of, I recommend the smartphone app Max Rewards. Through a read-only link to your bank, it pools data on all your credit cards, even if they are from different issuers, in one place, so you can see your balances, your transactions, your points and rewards and cashback balances all in one easy to use dashboard. The app will also tell you which card to use in which spending category to earn, you've guessed it, the maximum rate of rewards. If you have the gold version of Max Rewards, it'll even activate American Express offers and Chase quarterly categories for you, so you never miss a deal. And you can get a free month of that with my link below, or just download it and check out some of the free features. Okay, so here's exactly what you can still do with Pay Yourself Back, and we'll start with the Sapphire Cards first, and then we'll go on to talking about the Ink business cards. So on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the categories are gas stations, grocery stores, and select charities. But the value of the points is now set at just 1 cent per point for gas stations and grocery. So you only get the 25% bonus that you used to get on everything on charities. And that is sadly the one category that most people probably don't care too much for. The first two categories are valid to the end of the quarter, so until March 31st, and charities with the 25% bonus is until the end of the year. All right, now let's look at the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now, this card used to be 1.5 cents per point on all categories, but now it is just 1.25 cents per point on gas and grocery, and the annual fee until March 31st, and 1.5 cents per point on select charities until the end of the year. So on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, it remains a feature that does make some sense since you're getting a better rate than if you just redeem for cashback. On the Chase Sapphire Preferred right now, you might as well just redeem for cashback and then use that to pay off your card, except if you're doing charities. But for the regular categories, since, you know, it's the same rate as cashback, whether you redeem for cashback and pay off the charge or if you use the Pay Yourself Back feature. So it's basically a redundant feature now. All right, now let's go through a few of the other cards that also have this feature, starting with the Chase Ink cards. And we'll start first of all with the Chase Ink Preferred card that I have, although I actually couldn't find the physical card. It's just entered into some websites that I use to pay for shipping and stuff. But anyway, on this card, you'll get a pleasant surprise that there have actually been no changes. The only update they've made to it is that they added expiry dates. So you can redeem points for 1.25 cents per point for shipping, internet, cable, and phone services, and select charities. The first two categories expire on March 31st, and charities, like with the other cards, goes until the end of the year. Now for the Chase Ink Cash and Ink Unlimited. These cards also have no change. So you can use points at a value of 1.1 cents per point for shipping and internet, cable, and phone services until March 31st. Now for the Freedom cards, which you may not have realized do actually have the Pay Yourself Back feature too, so that includes the Freedom Flex, the Freedom Unlimited, and the Old Freedom. But you can only use it for charities. It is 1.25 cents per point though. Now, if you are feeling charitable, I will put a full list of all the charities that are eligible on screen now. I won't read them all out loud, but you can pause the video now if you want to have a look. And Chase does remind you, if you donate to some of the local chapters of these charities, often that won't be eligible. So you need to donate to the central organization. For example, if it was the American Red Cross, it needs to be at the national level, not your local chapter of it, okay? And same with all the others. So a little bit of a sad video, guys, but at least the business cards are still providing the same value that they were providing last year. If you are interested in the Business Preferred, the Ink Business Preferred, a card that I personally have, do get a lot of value out of it. I'll put a link to that below so that you can learn more about it. Likewise, on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the pay yourself back feature does still remain somewhat useful. On the Sapphire Preferred, you might as well just redeem for cashback and not even bother using pay yourself back, unless you're donating to charity, of course, but I suspect that's probably a category that most people aren't using. Which is sad because, you know, we should be charitable, but, you know, I expect for most people gas and grocery will be more useful categories. If you are interested in either of these cards, which they are still great cards, even though this one feature has been devalued, I'll put the links to both of them in the description section below so that you can learn more about them. A big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Max Rewards. You can get a free month of their gold service or just download the app and check out the free features with my link below as well. Please subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.